Welcome everyone to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host Sean Gannon alongside my partner Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you don't have the chance, go check out our website justsayingfootball.com. Follow us on Instagram at Just Saying No GWJS for article and video updates, and don't forget to follow us on Spotify. Just Saying Football. We're there now. Like I always say, you can have us in your ears.
Yeah, have us in your ears.
We can be there all the time. It's a wonderful, wonderful little thing. We're in week 11.
Week 11. Can't believe it.
Can't believe it. Season's moving fast. Playoffs are coming even faster. Don't know if I love that phrasing, but it's upon us, man. And it's a little bit strange after what happened in week 10. So let's jump into our blowout games for week 11. Because we got the Carolina Panthers making their way to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Ravens are favored by minus 12. Over under here of 43.5. Carolina did get the win last week.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield expected to start. PJ Walker, high ankle sprain. So many high ankle sprains this year.
I know. That is definitely a huge reoccurring injury, but getting right into it. Baltimore at home. Biggest spread of the week at 12. Over under is 43.5, like you said. So expecting it to be a good game. It seems like for Baltimore.
Yeah. For them.
On that side. But I mean, right now, Baker, 6 touchdowns on the year in 5 games. It's kind of interesting to see that Carolina had won that division game. Kind of messes up more of Atlanta than anything.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, the Ravens are, a team that has had some tough losses. Those 3 losses are all very tough. But outside of that, in their wins, they've been one of the most dominant teams, despite injuries and everything like that.
Yeah, every year they just play well. Lamar Jackson hopefully gets that contract from them. If not, my hot take is he is coming to New York if he doesn't sign in Baltimore. Expect the Giants to make a move for him. But I love the Ravens in this one. I don't know how the Mayfield-led team is going to look. We saw a lot more with PJ Walker. Not enough with Baker Mayfield that I like. I enjoy his enthusiasm, headbutting his teammates with no helmet on. That's for sure.
Respect the hustle.
Yeah, respect the hustle, respect a team player. That being said, I think that the Ravens right now, they're playing really good football. They're coming off the bye. They had some time to prepare for this one. Mark Andrews is expected to be back. So I'm locking them in for this one.
Yeah, locking in Baltimore. That spread, I'd say, it's a wacky thing with Carolina.
Yeah.
Defense. We always talk about their defense still being pretty good. But at the end of the day, I think that, like you said, this could be a huge day for the Baltimore tight ends, for Lamar Jackson. I think that Baltimore just straight up is the best way to go.
Agreed. Deshaun Jackson, first touchdown for Baltimore this week, yes, no?
We kind of want that. We want the big one. I want that annual Deshaun Jackson big touchdown. I'll say yeah.
I want to. I'm going to say the yes as well. All right, let's keep moving this along in our blowout game. We have the Philadelphia Eagles making their way to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Philadelphia's favored in this one by minus 6.5. 45-point over-under on this one. Jeff Saturday got his first win as a Colts head coach, and Eagles just took their first loss on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, a lot of storylines going to this one. We were talking about the Jeff Saturday hire last week. Indianapolis at home, Philly. They got to be really motivated after losing a division game. Now they're only 1 game ahead of the Giants, 2 games ahead of the Packers, or 3 games. Things are getting really tight later in the season. And the Colts, they're just trying to keep their season alive. We talked about it. Sean brought it up on the Thursday show. Shaq Leonard out for the rest of the year. Huge blow to the defense for the Colts. I like Philly out the gate, and the spread in this one, just got to say it. They are very motivated, and they had a couple of plays just not go their way last night. There were a lot of times that Philly really could have won. If they started hot. They started so hot. They got the turnover right away. They scored right away. I think they kind of do the same thing. But Matt Ryan definitely looked better last week for Indianapolis than Sam Ehlinger. I got to say that.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Eagles on this one. I do think that Jonathan Taylor running the ball last week was fantastic, and I do expect them to try to keep it through him as well. But let's not forget about Matt Shifty Ryan here, the 39-yard scamper on that run. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Love to see that from him. I do like the Eagles on this one, though. I think that the win was humbling for them in a way. You always have these lofty expectations of going undefeated, especially when you get to 9-0 and it's halfway through the season. Yeah. But it's always nice to remember, you're not bulletproof, that kind of stuff. And not to say that the Eagles ever felt that way. Yeah. But it's just good to sort of just be humbled at this point in the season.
To know you're not immortal is huge.
Exactly.
And sometimes when you are immortal and you just win every game, fine, but
Yeah,
sometimes you need those moments.
Always things to improve upon. And every single player on the Eagles team noted that in their post-conference game after the Monday Night Football game. I expect a huge bounce-back game for this one. I don't know about the spread, though. This minus 6.5. I can see them winning by 7. I don't know, but maybe the Colts just score like a garbage time touchdown that makes this game look a little bit closer than it really felt.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And Philly, they've been really great this year at taking on these teams I feel like they're familiar with. I feel like they don't play Indianapolis enough for us to know really what this matchup's going to look like. But yeah, Philly, I feel like is the safe bet, in the blowout.
Absolutely. All right, let's move this along to our meh games. We have the Chicago Bears heading to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Atlanta's favored by -3 here, over under 50. Justin Fields is getting better and better.
Every week.
Every single week. I still think there are some areas that definitely need improvement. That's mainly in the passing game. That pass to Jeff Okudah, I think, could have been easily avoided.
Yeah.
With someone who maybe develops a little bit more as a passing quarterback as well. I think he has all the capability of doing that. What are your thoughts, though, in this game?
Man, I mean, the last, this is going to be an interesting game. Two teams that are leading the NFL in rushing, yet they have a 50-point over, over-under, which just shows that, these defenses will let you do whatever they want, basically.
Oh, yeah.
You can run all over them, but the one thing I want to point out here is that right now, Chicago, I feel, I must say, I do like Atlanta's team more going into this. But the one thing about Chicago is that they are rushing better than any other team in the league right now. 2,017 yards right now on the season. Atlanta is second best. They have 1,604 yards. So they're about 400 yards behind, and we're only 10 games in. So that just shows me that this is going to be a very creative offensive game. I am kind of excited for this, but both of these teams are a little low quality to me. I don't know.
Yeah, they might not be the most
records, I guess.
Yeah, they might not be the most attractive teams on paper, but I think that Justin Fields is fun enough to maybe tune into a game and take a look. I'm going with them. I'm going to bear down this weekend. I think they should have won the game against Detroit. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot at points during that game. I think the Falcons are a very beatable team. Like you said, for some reason I like the Falcons more on paper. But what we've just seen from Fields, 111 yards per game over the last 5 games.
Incredible.
What he's doing right now, it's just electric. The defense isn't backing it up with what they need to do. That's evident with the losses of Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
But I think at this point they're just going to be able to put up a little bit too many points, and the Mariota in this offense will not be able to keep up.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that definitely. This is going to be one of those things like you're saying where maybe I feel like I expect these teams not to score as much as people are expecting. But Mariota last week, I don't know if he is a solution, but the pressure of that loss last week, they do need to win. I'm going to go with Chicago, which I usually wouldn't do. Atlanta's favored. But I feel like last week, Chicago was playing like a great team until they just let it slip away. So I'm going to go with Chicago.
All right, I love that. Let's keep this moving. The Washington Commanders make their way to Houston to take on the Texans. Washington is favored by -3.5 here, over under 40.5. Huge win for Washington on Monday Night Football. You had asked me in our Monday Night Football episode, what did the Washington Commanders need to do to win this game? And some of the key points that I had mentioned were time of possession, converting on the time of possession, and running the ball efficiently. They did all 3 of those things in the last game. It was absolutely beautiful. I think midway through the third quarter, it was 30 minutes.
Yeah, to like 8 minutes.
Yeah, right? Total possession for Washington. Time possession for Washington. It was absolutely incredible. Houston right now, I love Lovey. I say it every single week. I love Damian Pierce. They're staying in these games, but they just don't. The field goal was questionable that they opted to do.
Yeah.
Washington now needs to back up what happened on Monday Night Football with an easy win where you're also expected to get Chase Young back. Washington, you got to win this one.
Yeah,
I'm going with you.
Very excited to get ready to talk about Chase Young again. I feel like, his rookie year, we were saying, hey, every week, does he get a sack? Because we knew he was going to get a sack. Now I am looking at Washington very differently. They are very well coached by Ron Rivera. He had an excellent after game presser, locker room speech in the locker room. very heartfelt, and I think that this team is motivated to stay competitive as well as their opponents around them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They are. They see the NFC East getting better, and they see that they just made it wide open by defeating the Eagles last night. I'm going to go with them in this. Like you said, the coaching for the Texans has been the problem for me. They have some talented players, but it seems like every week they really don't know what to do. I think that the Commanders are a safe bet, 3.5, but that 40.5, I think that these defenses will allow enough points for them to get it done.
Yeah, I'll take you over on that one.
Yeah.
I like that one. All right, let's keep this moving. When we have the Los Angeles Rams making their way to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Saints are favored in this one by -4. Okay. 38.5 point over under. We mentioned this on our Monday Night Football episode. In case anyone didn't watch it or did not hear of the news, Cooper Kupp is receiving ankle surgery, is going to be on the 4-game IR, but he is also considered out indefinitely. I got to lock in the Saints off the bat, despite Dennis Allen saying that they might switch it up at quarterback. I think just no Cooper Kupp. I don't like the Rams.
Yeah, you don't like the Rams this week. You don't think it's you think that for the next 4 weeks we're just going to be looking at them completely different. I kind of agree. I think that New Orleans at home is still very dangerous. I mean, I just can't
defense
believe
is still good.
3-7. Defense is good. But what about the fact that right now the Rams are 29th of 32 teams. They're averaging 16.4 points a game. This is a team that was by far leading the league in points last year. It's very disappointing overall. And then you lose your best player. How do you do that? I mean, New Orleans has gone through a lot of adversity this year with their team's health. But no matter the quarterback, I think it'll be better than the Rams' defense can handle, especially in that dome. It's going to be very tough for the Rams to be able to come in there and actually dominate. I don't see any I don't see any advantages for them.
No, and this is what's scary. I was looking along on the papers because you mentioned that the Rams are averaging 16.4 points per game. To put that into perspective for people, the worst scoring offense belongs to, you guessed it, Denver Broncos. You're absolutely right. Good guess, people. Way to listen. Denver is averaging 14.6. That means that the Los Angeles Rams team is scoring 1.8 points more per game on average than the Denver Broncos. Let that sink in for a moment. This Super Bowl, the reigning Super Bowl champions, the high-flying Rams offense, the Cooper Kupp Triple Crown threat, the Allen Robinson, everything about this team and storyline, and for this to be the outcome, it's so upsetting to see. And now you had all these things about McVay leaving when the Cup is gone and Donald's gone and Ramsey's gone, and now you wonder after this season, is that happening sooner than we expect?
It's got to be in consideration in the sense that this is what you have to react to when you've had a coach that is playing this bad. I mean, if they fall to 3-7, it could be very tough. Both these teams are just in a position of a football game to win. They don't really have any long-term, season plans here. I don't see playoffs for either of these teams at this point. And the lowest spread, man, I mean, over-under is 38.5. This Vegas is being generous, but they are not expecting them to score any points. The Rams, in their last 3 games, they've lost all of them. They have 24 total points in the first half. That is just insane. I mean, in those contests, in 3 games, they haven't even scored more than 17 points. These are the Super Bowl champions, people. We gotta wake up and just start hating on the Rams the way they deserve it, man. They gave up everything, and now look where it's gotten.
Just brutal. Let's just move this right along.
Saints money line.
Yeah, Saints money line for sure. Definitely take the under. Let's move this along because we got the Detroit Lions making their way to New York to face the Giants. Giants are favored by -3. Over under here at 46. Now, the best passer rating of the entire 2022 NFL season belongs to, you guys guessed it, Daniel Jones.
Mr. Daniel Jones.
Mr. Danny Dimes himself, the New York Giant great. The potential future contract signing Daniel Jones for the Giants?
We are definitely going to have a couple of videos come out about the free agent signings, and Daniel Jones probably going to be the biggest debate between me and Sean, especially when it comes down to 2 months. But now he's at that point. He is getting good, and it's kind of crazy that he's doing it in his 4th year, and the fact that he's only throwing about like 17 passes a game. But the one thing I do love is that he's winning the games. The Giants are 7-2. I'm looking at it on the dock. I can't believe it. And now, what's great about this is the Lions. I mean, they have a couple of good wins. Now they're 3-6. They are trying to play for something. They have a lot of heart. But man, the Giants at MetLife Stadium, it's gonna be loud this weekend. I think that Saquon is going to do what he did last week and just run the ball as much as he can. 35 carries last week. How do you feel about that?
That's a lot of carries for a guy coming off of knee injuries. That being said, when he was running that efficiently and that well and that healthy, you gotta love it at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly fine with that. That is the kind of running back that Saquon is. I'm definitely interested to see how the Giants handle this game. They let the Texans stay in there a little bit too long in that last game, and you could see Brian Daboll was getting really upset on the sideline with his team.
That 4th.
And I loved how fired up. I'm not saying that as a slight to Brian Daboll. That is something we had not seen on the sidelines from the Giants since Tom Coughlin was around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the players were accepting it. The players knew that they were making mistakes. They were not getting in his face back. They were accepting that he was right in this moment. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a much closer game than some people might expect. I like the line of -3. I am going to go with the Giants in this one.
Yeah.
Giants, though, do need to be aware of Amon-Ra St. Brown. The dude is fantastic.
Yeah. Him versus Adoree Jackson's going to be a couple of athletes going at it.
It's going to be a huge matchup. And Okudah versus Darius Slayton on the other end. Okudah coming off of a great game against the Bears is going to be one to watch. Okudah kind of maybe not playing up to exactly the prowess of that number 3 overall pick just a few years ago.
Yeah.
He is starting to find his stride in the NFL this season for sure.
I do like the Giants out the gate, like you said. I got to be aware of this scrappy defense by the Lions. The Lions, they play really tough and hard as Dan Campbell coaches them. Everybody's looking like they are, starting to click. I know that they have, had some terrible losses that they wish they had back. However, I think that the Giants are putting together game plans week by week that help support these things. I like the spread, like you said, this week. And I think this will go over. I think that the Lions have game plans that they just score on you, but they make sure that you score more on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. All right, let's keep this moving. We're going into the game that I don't think anyone cares about.
That's a great intro for AFC. Could we? I just want to pause. I didn't mean to cut you off. But can you imagine how hyped we were for the AFC West, and here we are on week 11, and it's like.
I can't. It's the freaking. It's the Las Vegas Raiders going to Denver to face the Broncos. Like
the Raiders going to play the Broncos.
I just this is Denver's favorite.
2-7 Raiders, Sean. How do we feel about that? I just want your opinion after we talked about the Raiders. We were heavy on them last week. What is going on?
I don't know. Denver's favorite in this one -2.5. 41.5 point over under here. It's a 4:05 Eastern game, of course. It has to be in a decent time slot. I mentioned before we were talking about I can't remember the previous team we were just talking about the Rams. That the Denver Broncos were scoring offense currently right now in the NFL, only averaging 14.6 points per game. Their defense, though, is playing great once again. Their defense is only letting up 16.6 points per game. There's something I saw online, and I just have to mention it because it's true. And I texted you. If the Denver Broncos had scored 18 points in all of their games this season, they would have won 8 of their 9 games. Would be sitting at an 8-1 record, and the only loss would have come to the Raiders when they lost 32-23, which is ironic because it's also the most points that they scored this season was in a loss. Come on!
Nothing is going right for Denver. We talk about this every week. And unfortunately, last week, Sean mentioned on the Thursday show, but a minor injury to Jerry Jeudy that really he avoided something major in the game. He's a huge, we're all huge fans here of Jerry Jeudy. But, definitely not the Broncos this year. Oh, God. I mean, I hate like having no pick, but it's like, do I just pick Denver?
I don't know. I don't want to pick either. I'm so happy that you said that because I was thinking I was reading ahead.
Sean knows I hate 2.5 spreads are bad luck.
Dude, I'm like reading ahead and I was just like, I'm seeing this game and I was just like, fuck, I don't know if we're allowed to not pick a team because we've never really done that. But this would be a game I don't want to pick a team. Like, can I call it? I'm going to call probably, I think you're like just saying second ever tie because I genuinely just don't care. I will call the outlier of a tie. Like, I would, if I could somehow have both teams lose in this game, I would. So I'm gonna go the tie. This is gonna be a tie.
I want to go with the Raiders.
That's fine.
I'm gonna pick the Raiders only because it's honestly it sounds crazier than your pick.
They better win.
If they do tie, somebody's got to give Sean like a cool thing. Like, I don't know.
I will become the new owner of the Raiders.
But basically, I think that with this, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think that they can run Josh Jacobs to a win despite their injuries. Last week, I think, was a little more of a fluke. And Derek Carr, I think he'll be motivated this week.
Okay, I'm the tie is my final answer, but if I had to pick one,
it's a bet on the spread.
I would. I would. Oh God, no. I'd go against it. Screw it. The team is going to win by one team will win by more than 3, but I would go with Denver just because I put in a bet after week 3 that the Raiders are going to have the worst record in the NFL. It was like a plus 2,000. I dropped like a nice like $20 on it, and I'm like, oh, this could be a nice little bet. So Denver.
If you ride that, make sure to comment with Sean.
Yeah, if you don't tie it, at least do me that favor. How about my bet? All right, let's move this right along into our good games. When the New York Jets make their way to New England to take on the Patriots are favored in this one by -3, over under 38.5. Huge news for the Jets this week. With that Buffalo loss to the Vikings, it propelled them to second place in the AFC East, and with the win over Buffalo, it gives them some security.
Yeah.
Didn't know I never thought I would be at this point in time saying that.
We need to get a highlight reel of like your evolution with the Jets this year as they've gotten good, because you're just like, they're undeniably in good games because it is. They're playing good. Unfortunately, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, they lost Breece Hall, but they kind of stepped up with the James Robinson, Michael Carter backfield. It's kind of funny. The New England Patriots have won 13 times in a row, dating back to 2016. Home and away, they have, I believe, won 11 games.
11 straight home games.
In Gillette. So
since 2011. God damn.
But man, the Jets are underdogs, and every time they're underdogs this season, what do they do?
They end up winning. I got, the Patriots got the win in the first meeting between these two teams, and that was in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Excuse me. There's just I'm.
He's conflicted.
I know. There's like, I want to say logically, it has to be the Patriots, right? Belichick and all that stuff, and like both these teams had 2 weeks to prepare.
Yes. That's a tough thing. We usually talk about bye week.
But they both have the bye weeks, right? And they both know each other really well.
Same week last week.
Freaking,
And they've already played this season, and the Patriots took it at home, and the Jets have a very tough road advantage to overcome. I gotta tell you, I kind of like the Jets, but the tough thing is, Zach Wilson last time that they played, he threw 355 yards, which was the most this season. But he's also had a lot of games this year.
He threw 3 interceptions in that game as well.
Yeah, and he had 3 picks. So it's like, what are we going to get? Are we going to get, the guy who maybe has, less than 200 yards each week? Or are we going to get the guy who throws a 355 and maybe doesn't throw those 3 interceptions? I don't know. But I think it's just going to be a very... I'm looking for Garrett Wilson to step up big time. Like, that's really what I'm looking for. Last time he played New England, he had 7 targets, 6 catches, 115 yards. So it's kind of like, if he can have a game like that again, do you feel better about them?
I'm gonna go with the Jets, but I don't think it's going to be because of their offense necessarily.
Okay.
When it comes to Zach Wilson or Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
I don't know if Zach Wilson's at the point right now where we can say that we can trust him to step up in the big moments when his team is going to need him.
True.
But I do feel comfortable saying that about the defense. Jets defense is playing great. They're 9th against the pass, 11th against the rush. They are 11th in takeover differential. They're only allowing 19.5 points a game. They're doing they're doing everything that you need to do that's right.
Yeah.
And I think that Robert Saleh knows that this defense is going to be what gets them the win.
Yeah.
And this is a chance to do so. There's been a little bit of weirdness with this offense. The passing offense of the Patriots has not looked great. You know, they're currently, They're currently 23rd right now in the passing offense.
Mac Jones has like 4 passing touchdowns on the whole year.
Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed are playing great in the secondary for the Jets.
That's got to be like a top 3 cornerback duo already.
Honestly, and I just think there's a time for there to be maybe the Patriots dominate the next couple of years, right?
Yeah.
But there's a moment where every team takes one, right? And why isn't this that moment where the Jets get one? The Bills are down after a game. There's a lot on the line right now for the Jets. If the Jets jump out to 7-3 and like by some miracle the Dolphins maybe lose after their bye week.
I'm just saying, I can see it, man. I can see this happening for the Jets.
I'm going Jets, yeah.
It's the right time. We're both going Jets, people. Get ready.
Get ready to place your bing bong bets. Let's keep this moving on our good games. We got the Cleveland Browns making their way to Buffalo to take on the Bills here. Buffalo is favored by -8, over under here 43.5. And the Bills obviously coming off of a devastating loss to the Vikings in OT. We're not going to talk about that yet because we got the Vikings game coming up. So I don't need to get into that right now. Stephon Diggs, though, played great. Great one-handed catch. Better one later on, though. Josh Allen, granted the last 2 weeks have not been great for him. I still think that he's the guy. He's still up there.
Bit, I think that's the main thing for me. I don't know if he's had like the time to heal yet, and you can kind of see that.
Yeah, but I like the Bills.
Yeah, I like the Bills and the spread in this one. I got to tell you, every week I keep saying, Cleveland is better than I think that they are. But, I don't think that's true this week. I don't think that this week they're going to be the team to really say, they can step up this week. Maybe they do. Maybe I ate my words, but I don't see it. I see Buffalo taking this game. I see, like you said, Stephon Diggs going up against Denzel Ward this week. That's a huge factor. Devin Singletary's been stepping up a lot. And when you talk about this game maybe last year, you're like, Chubb's going to run the clock. The Bills are going to pass the ball a lot. The Bills are running the ball because Josh Allen's hurt, and it's actually really good for them. They put themselves in a lot of good positions last week against you guys with their run game. Yep. I see that this week. And the Bills' defense, they're going to go after Nick Chubb. They're going to go after Jacoby Brissett. They have Tre'Davious White, so Amari Cooper I'm nervous about on the road, who hasn't been great on the road this year. Myles Garrett's going against Deion Dawkins. That's one of the top 5 left tackles. There's a lot of advantages for the Bills this year. And, Josh Allen is right now 3rd in passing yards, only behind Pat Mahomes and Brady. And he's got 20 touchdowns behind Pat Mahomes, who has 25, and nobody else has over 20. I mean, it's still Josh Allen at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's still the guy. I think that the Browns will try to run the ball well with Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
They just got to hope he doesn't break off for like an 80-yard touchdown because they bottled up Dalvin Cook really well. That one mistake, you know what I mean? That's where he got all of his yards. That's when the momentum shifted for them. I do expect them to lock it down a little bit more on that side of the defensive ball. All right, let's keep this moving in a good game. So we have the Cincinnati Bengals making their way to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers here. Cincinnati is favored by -5. Over under here 41 points. 4:25 Eastern game. Still injury news for the Bengals. Jamar Chase was seen on crutches on Monday at practice. Will most likely not be in this Week 11 matchup. But maybe get ready for a Week 12. Now, Week 1, these teams faced off. Pittsburgh got the win.
Yeah, it was a kicking issue. I believe week 1, me and Sean were sitting there watching the game, and we see Evan McPherson and Chris Boswell, and I'm pretty sure that they missed like 4 out of 5 field goals between fourth quarter and overtime. But yeah, Pittsburgh having that is a huge advantage to them. They really could put Cincinnati in a tough position, make them 5-5, or Cincinnati will put themselves at 6-4, and really, start to really make this a division between them and the Ravens for AFC North supremacy. The Steelers are in a weird spot because we talk about it every year that Tomlin is a winning record guy, never not been that. This year it's a little scary, 3-6. But man, the Bengals coming off the bye. Last time we saw them, they were in Carolina, and Joe Mixon had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was a monster game for Joe Mixon. First time ever in the Bengals franchise history that someone had 5 touchdowns. Great game for them.
Yeah.
But Steelers have TJ Watt back. And that was evident last week against the Saints that they were all over Andy Dalton. He was getting the backfield, blowing up plays. I like the Steelers again in this one. This time they're going to get to be at home. There's going to be no Jamar Chase. Yes, they don't have Minka Fitzpatrick, but I just think that this defense plays so much better when TJ Watt is out there on the field.
Yes.
And him being back, the way that the Bengals are playing in the first half of the season offensively, when it comes to their offensive line, giving up a lot of sacks. I see a 2-sack game for TJ Watt in this one. I see that being a huge momentum shifter for them.
Yeah.
That could be the potential that creates maybe a turnover or a mistake to some degree.
And keeps it close.
Yeah, man. I like that for this one.
I feel like the AFC North battles, we always talk about, any of the combinations of it. We always see that, right? We always see like really close games, or it comes down to the wire, or defensive touchdown, or block kick, or something like that. But at the end of the day, I think that I like the Bengals more in this one. I just don't like what I'm seeing out of like Najee Harris, and I don't like when Kenny Pickett is playing better. I must note that. I have been giving him a little.
You see him run down the field to try to throw a block?
I did see that. He ran 40 yards, and he's fast. We
He's
forget how
fast.
fast he is. He's a huge guy who's really fast. The Steelers, I think this is going to be a great rivalry between Burrow and Pickett for years to come. But right now, it's going to be tough, man, for the Steelers. It's a midday game. I would have liked the Steelers a lot more if this was a Sunday night game. I feel like the Bengals in primetime I don't always like as much. But Cincinnati 5, I'm going to take. I don't know if I would take the 5. I think it's going to be like a field goal because these teams keep it close and low scoring.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. Bengals will cover the spread, or Pittsburgh will cover the spread. Yeah, I like that a lot. I agree. All right. Games of the week. Got me getting distracted. That's why I couldn't get that last one out. We got the Dallas Cowboys coming to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Dallas is favored by -1, so that really means that they don't know who's favored in this one. 47.5 point over under, 4:25 Eastern game for the Vikings. Now,
this is going to be so fun this weekend because Sean is very excited now that his team is very good, and I'm not saying that in any way but respectful in the sense that I've seen Sean struggle through these Viking season. That Buffalo win last week definitely felt really good. It's going to be a high-scoring game, I must say that, 47.5. The Vikings, man, I mean, after that win last week, they're on the opposite wave of the Cowboys coming into this, who went into the OT loss. Vikings had an OT win. These teams must be exhausted coming into this week. But give me your thoughts and reaction. I know you've been waiting.
yeah, everyone sees me just sitting here smiling. You guys, anyone who's a Vikings fan who's ever followed the Vikings, we don't really win those close games like that. And there was a lot of reasons why I thought we were going to lose, including the many 3rd and 15 first downs that Josh Allen ended up getting in that game. 18. Yeah, oh my God, that catch by Justin Jefferson. He is going to get a contract the likes in which the NFL has never seen. I am so excited to pay the man.
He's going to reset the market, end the market.
Oh God, he is the freaking market right now. I'm gonna go with the Vikings in this one now. Historically, we've lost to the Cowboys a lot in recent memory. We're 1-for-5 in our last 5 matchups, and we seem to always lose at home to them as of late, and only win when we're in Dallas. I think this is the game where we can kind of shift that around. The Vikings were a tale of a different team compared to last season.
Yeah.
And I think what I appreciate most about our team this season a lot is we're not only rallying behind our new head coach and our young head coach, but we also seem to be really focused on what the end-all goal is here. You know, like, at the end of the day, the Buffalo win is great, and everyone has a right to deserve the moment, but it's in the past now. You know what I mean? Now we got the Cowboys. We still got the Packers. We got the Giants. We got the Lions. We got the Bears. Oh, my. Like, we got more games left. We got the playoffs. We're fighting for a first seed now with the Eagles. Like, there is still so much to be done, and I appreciate that the Vikings are still very focused on what the end-all goal is here. Because I thought that in 2017 when the Minneapolis Miracle happened, and this is something similar to that. You know, we're getting a defensive touchdown because of a botched snap, and we're getting an interception by Patrick Peterson and a one-handed grab on a 4th and 18. Like, this is a Minneapolis Miracle-esque, and I felt after that game in the playoffs that Minnesota got distracted, and they felt like now they just deserved a championship because of a miracle win. Nothing in the NFL, nothing in life is just given to you. Nothing is a guarantee. You have to earn it. And I think the Vikings are still on that wave of every little thing is going to be earned. We got some injuries. We got a Caleb Evans out. We got Cameron Dantzler on IR. We got Christian Darrisaw, our star left tackle in year 2, out. We got some players that are going to need to step up and stepped up last week. Now we got a whole new team to face. So let's.
Yeah, the Dallas defense is very.
Let's go, Micah Parsons, man.
Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence with no Christian Darrisaw. You put those guys on the same side with a backup tackle, and it's going to be a long day for Kirk. I think that I like Minnesota in this game. They are 8-1. Dallas last week. I won't let that overtime loss to the Packers kind of fool me. I know that Dallas is still a pretty
great
good team. They are going to win these games. Tony Pollard has really just stepped up coming in. And that guy is also another guy who is probably going to get heavy paid this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
As he'll be touted. But right now, he is a Cowboy. He's running. This is going to be just an overall shootout, despite the fact that both these defenses are really good. That reflects in the 47.5. I will take the over, and I will take Minnesota in this one at home.
Like the over too.
In Dallas, I would have been a little more nervous for the Vikings. Say the spread was a little bigger maybe. But looking outside of that logically, I'm looking at the Vikings at home, 8-1. I like them. But going to be good. This is going to be, like we talked about, this is one of our games of the week for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before we move on to our last game of the week, a huge win against the Buffalo Bills. Statement win, as many would say. Another great team. Time to back up. Statement win.
Yeah.
With another win.
Very true.
Everyone. Cousins had a good game. Cousin was making all the right looks. Some great throws to JJ.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Now you got to back up that win. Show that you can do it week in, week out. Just something I just wanted to say. All right, moving this right along. Sunday Night Football and our last game of the week on this Sunday Superflex episode. We got the Kansas City Chiefs making their way to LA to take on the Chargers. Kansas City is favored in this one by -6.5. There's an over-under here of 50.5. Good news for the Chargers. Keenan Allen expected to practice this week, looking like he might start in this game. Mike Williams expected to practice this week, looking like he might start this week. Justin Herbert needs it.
He definitely needs his weapons back. We've been talking about him not having anybody to throw to for too long. But this is good for everybody. Herbert, Eckler, good for the offensive line. Not having to hold it for too long in the sense that, they have more experienced receivers back in there. But man, did I miss Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. One of the better wide receiver combos when healthy. Both guys have, dealt with an injury history. But on the other side, we got Pat Mahomes throwing 4 touchdowns. So, last week, we saw the Pat Mahomes we know is there, but Justin Herbert really loves to reflect that in these games. I always feel like we get spoiled with these Chargers and Chiefs games.
Yeah, they're always a good game, and it seems like this is the one time or the one few games where Mahomes has a tendency to struggle, and struggling for him is only 300 yards and maybe 2-3 touchdowns and then an interception. So it's not really struggling in the grand scheme of things. It's just in terms of what he can do. I am going with KC in this one. I went with the Chargers last week as a surprise against the 49ers. That did not pan out. But what I think right now with the Chiefs, that's once again so scary. Doesn't matter who's out there on the field. MVS, Kadarius Toney, the former Giants first round pick. Juju Smith-Schuster, though he got the concussion. McCole Hardman, abdominal injury. He is just finding everyone to pass through and to pass to and to throw to, and That's just scary when Mahomes is allowing everyone to feed a little bit. I didn't even mention Travis Kelce. And he's just letting everyone feed. That's really when Mahomes is at his scariest.
What's crazy for me is the pace of the Chiefs' offense right now is going through the running backs, and none of them named Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Mainly Isaiah Pacheco when they need to run, Jerick McKinnon when they need to pass. And with that, it's very crazy that, they are so versatile. They are continuously in that sense. With no Juju, they are getting McCole Hardman back this week. So I'm expecting some speed, some large throws. The one thing is I'm going to go with Kansas City out the gate. Pat Mahomes is leading. I said this before with the Buffalo game, but he's leading the NFL right now in passes, with touchdowns, with yards. It's just this is a huge game for the AFC West. We were talking about the other two teams being a joke, but it's crazy that when we were talking about the joke of the other two teams, that there is a lot at stake in this game for them. So I will go KC, but I must mention that I think the Chargers cover the spread.
I like the Chargers covering the spread. If for whatever reason the Chargers are able to edge out a win here, they're able to get to 6-4, drop the Chiefs to 7-3, and they're able to split this though. Man, that's going to be a fun end to the AFC West. I mean, not for Vegas.
Not for Vegas.
Or Denver.
Right.
But if you're a Charger fan or
for the
Chiefs fan, you're going to be pretty excited. That's all the time that we have. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this week's Sunday Superflex episode.
Yeah, a lot of crazy games. The season is winding down.
Wow.
And we are just sticking with the weirdness. JustSayingFootball.com. Go check it out. Just Saying Football on YouTube and on Spotify. Make sure you go like, subscribe there. Go comment on YouTube. So let us know anything you like, don't like, and want to see. And make sure to check out all the article and video updates on Instagram for Just Saying. No GWJS. Thank you guys so much for checking out our Week 11 Super Sunday Flex.
Enjoy.